Hey guys, it's Dan here, and it is month one of the second year of Freelance Digital Marketing Live. Each month I've been putting together a video about what my experiences have been like both in the world of digital marketing and in the world of self-employment. So this month is to cover off what has been happening in May. So May has been an interesting month. Obviously, as I said in the last vlog, it's the first month of the second year, and that's given me a lot of time to rethink and refocus as to kind of where I want my priorities to lie. One of the biggest things which I've decided to do, and I spoke about it a couple of months ago, was to actually look into getting a mentor. If you watched the previous video about me finding a mentor, you'll know that I thought there'd be probably enough information from a mixture of people you can talk to, articles you can read, books, people out online that you can sort of potentially interact and engage with and learn from, and that would be sort of sufficient in being able to drive a business forward. And I still hold true to that. I think that's probably still the case. Having a physical mentor, having someone that you can talk to, whether it's weekly, monthly, and just to discuss all the things that are very specific to what's going on for you, I think could be an incredibly beneficial thing. So I'm currently going through the application process for how to actually go about getting someone. I'll keep everyone in the loop as to how that is going in the months ahead. The thing that I wanted to cover off in May though, that was particularly good but interesting but a bit frustrating if I'm slightly honest, and that's all to do with the world of sales. Now, regardless of what industry you're in and whether you're freelance or whether you are employed in a larger business, sales is going to be a fundamental part of getting business in. After all, that's what keeps a business going. But because you're freelance, the fact is that sales isn't with a sales team, it's with you, just as all the other major responsibilities are that come with running a business. Now with sales, that means getting enough people interested in you, that means generating enough inquiries, and that means potentially converting those inquiries into actual business. Now over the last few weeks, that's been really good for me. There's been quite a number of sales which have come through, and on average, although this is a really ballpark figure, I'm probably getting about one very decent inquiry a week. For the line of business that I'm in, that is more than sufficient in terms of generating enough work. Often those clients might stick around for a number of months, if not longer. And the amount of income per customer that I'm potentially able to generate is always quite substantial. So at any one given time, I'm not actually working with a huge number of different people. And that means an inquiry a week is a really high volume for me. But the one thing I've learned with regards to these sales is the fact that sales take time. Especially when it comes to the world of digital marketing, it's never just a case of, oh, this is the job, this is the price. What will happen is that a client will contact me by email or phone, and from there we'll then have an initial conversation. That initial conversation might take anywhere between 10 minutes to half an hour. But before that, I will often have to go out and research what's happening with their website, what they're doing on social media, look at the people that are contacting me up, look at the company that's contacting me up, and to learn more about them. All in all, so that when I take that phone call, it means that I'm armed with the right knowledge as to how to understand their business. Now after that phone call, I might need to go away and do some additional research depending on what they need, what they think their problems might be, what challenges that their business might be facing. But from that means additional research on top. Now, normally from there, what will happen is that I will put together an email quote for them. So that will break down the different services that I can potentially offer with pricing and generally how long that takes. Generally, they're one-off projects. Often there'll be monthly retainers which can go on for a good number of months, if not years. So what I'll do is I'll put that all into an email quote for them. I'll send that across, but then subsequently you need to arrange another follow-up call, more often than not, to go through it. The reason for that subsequent call is the fact that the people on the other end of the phone might not fully understand what it is that they are actually asking for. SEO by its very nature is quite a tricky subject to explain, so often by taking someone through it over the phone, using examples from their own existing website, can often be a much more effective way of doing it. However, all of that collectively takes time. Not a huge amount of time, but time enough. And one of the things I've been learning over the last couple of months is the fact that collectively, if I'm getting an inquiry through a week, that's probably looking at an hour plus per sales call, which ends up being about 4 hours a month conservatively. Often it's a fair bit more. And the thing is, I'll be completely honest with you, I don't win every project that comes along my way. I don't win every inquiry that comes through on the phone. So I have to balance off the fact that that time is still time that I could hypothetically be working on other projects. Now don't get me wrong, the fact if I win that work is fantastic from a cash flow perspective, and it's fantastic from a project basis, because after all, that's what I do. One of the things which I stupidly didn't factor in at the start of it was that sales take time, and therefore I need to be factoring into my sort of monthly schedule each month that potentially there are going to be some sales that come along, and those sales are going to need work and research and time. The fact of the matter is I wasn't factoring in that time, and consequently it meant that I was trying to do as much work as possible during the day day, and then having to do sales in addition to it. Now, actually, at the end of the day, doing those sales are the most important element. They shouldn't sit at the end of the day, they should sit at the start of the day, or be the most important part of your time, because after all, new sales are the lifeblood of any business. One of the things which I'm also trying to consider though is the fact that although that might take time, that amount of time also needs to be factored into your costs somewhere. If you have to go out and quote and do research and take calls and do additional calls and potentially go and meet clients as well, that can all take quite substantial amounts of time, and that's a time which needs to be factored into your costs. Although you may just be doing an individual portion of work or a particular project that has a certain price, by the time you factor in the sales, the research, the actually doing the work, and then subsequently you might be doing after sales, you need to prepare invoicing, you need to do your accounts. All those elements collectively take up quite a substantial amount of time on any given project. Now, at the end of the day, for most service-based organizations, your time is your money. So the fact is, although you might be pricing your work at thinking that I'm doing X number of hours, therefore it costs this much, there's also all these extra hours sort of floating around on the fringes outside of the project that you might be doing that you also need to factor in. And again, that is one of the things which I'm trying to do over the course of this month and beyond, in factoring not just how long the work is going to take, but how long potential sales are going to take, how long invoicing takes, how long accounting takes, all the different bits and pieces that add up to an original project. So when you get new inquiries through or new sales through, try and factor in the time and try and factor in how much money that they potentially cost you, whether you win or lose them, because at the end of the day, your time is the most important element when it comes to running a service-based business. This is why in particular I'm looking to get a mentor, because this is one of the areas which I personally don't feel as strong in compared to actual, say, marketing skills. I know it's a really important part of the business. So all in all, I hope that helps. June is looking like a very good month. We're officially launching the Way of Words. I know I said that last month, but we're definitely launching it in June. As always, if you guys have got any questions whatsoever about the world of freelance life or digital marketing life, or how to get into digital marketing, which I know a lot of people are asking me at the moment, feel free to ask me a question. You can either stick a comment in the box below, or I'll stick a link onto my LinkedIn, which quite a few people have come across as well. If you want to carry on watching about how my freelance life has been developing, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you next month with another video about what is happening in June. Catch you guys later.